could be possible mobile phone hideouts. Cringing at some jokes, but at the same time laughing at a few as well. But I think it is these small droplets of fun and satisfying memories that make up the ocean of life, an ocean worth voyaging through. And now, as we approach the beginning of a completely new journey, I think we will always harbor in our hearts the memories that we made in this one. I won't elaborate too much on how much we are going to miss school and school life in general. Rather, I would like to take this opportunity to celebrate the fact that we are willing to accept the challenges that life poses before us. We are willing to make the most of every day that we live. So let us sail over the high tides and voyage over the sea of success like we own it. Ladies and gentlemen, before we set sail, let us remind each other of the motto that we've learnt in this school. Let us rise to the excitement of our future endeavors, rise to the challenge of the futures that hold, and rise to make our dreams a reality. I wish all my fellow batchmates all the very best for their future, and on behalf of the whole batch, would really like to thank Vidya Shilp Academy for refreshing our aspirations, refreshing our ideas, and simply just refreshing our lives. And with that being said, all aboard. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anirudh.
Anurag Behr is the Chief Sustainability Officer of Wipro Limited, CEO of Azim Premji Foundation, and Vice Chancellor, Azim Premji University. Mr. Behr holds a BE in Electrical and Electronics Engineering from National Institute of Technology, Trichy, and postgraduate diploma in Business Management from Xavier Labour Relations Institute, Jamshedpur, India. Sir has been the Chief Sustainability Officer of Wipro Limited since 2010. As the Chief Executive Officer of Wipro Infrastructure Engineering Limited in 2008, he led the business from being number 20 in the world to being number 1 in 5 years. He has served as a Corporate Vice President of Community Initiatives at Wipro Limited and also served as its Vice President of Mission Quality, Innovation, Brand and Corporate Communication since 2002. Mr. Behr has been closely involved with efforts to improve education in India for the past 11 years. He has been a vocal advocate for the critical importance of public systems, in particular the public education system. For the past few years, he has also been engaged with environmental and ecological issues. He writes a fortnightly column for the newspaper Mint on education and ecology. He serves on various government and industry councils, such as the National Mission on Teachers and Teacher Education. He has been honored by the World Economic Forum by being recognized as a young global leader. It didn't come as a surprise when we learned that he enjoys long-distance running, as the above-mentioned were just a few of his accomplishments. His versatility truly helps us understand Apara's personality, indeed, following her father's footsteps closely. A hearty welcome to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Thank you. The person that you introduced, I don't recognize him, you know. Thank you for those very kind words. Good evening, and congratulations to all of you. I got lots of speeches here. I don't know which one to read from. So when I was sitting there, down there, and I was looking at you, for the first half of the ceremony, the question that occurred to me was the question that the Joker asked. Why so serious? Why? So it occurred to me that I should do today that one thing that my daughter told me not to do, which is tell you some jokes. So she said, you know, Pa, if you tell jokes, they're going to be dad jokes. And I had no idea what those were. But for the past half an hour since you guys have been getting the awards, it's pretty good. So I won't attend the dad jokes. I won't embarrass her. That's okay. Well, you know, I'm going to say three things. You know, I'm going to make 3 points. And my second point has 3 points in itself, so which means 2.1, 2.2, 2.3. I've learned, and this might be helpful for you, that people's attention spans are very small. Huh? So if you say 3 things, people remember. If you say more things, nobody remembers. Okay? The first is that I just heard that the school's been around for 19 years. But in the way I think of the school, my and my wife's, Sapna, she's there, our association with the school is for 24 years. And you may wonder that if a school's been around for 19 years, how is it that we've been associated for 24 years? The answer is pretty simple. She's been here for 12 years, and my son, who also graduated after doing the entire 12 years, so it makes 24 years. And I also got reminded, you know, I was sort of given credit to my daughter's personality in that kind introduction. But then, you know, you got to see my son and my daughter, and you'll see the contrast. So, but in those 24 years of association with the school, I think the school can claim credit for that one thing, which to my mind is the acid test for any education institution. And which is this, that neither of these kids in those 24 years ever got up in the morning and said, I don't want to go to school. And that is remarkable, you know. That is remarkable because any school that is that happy must be doing something really good. So I want to thank Vidyashilp, not just for Apra, but for my son Aman. You know, I was not here, or I was not speaking from here when he graduated. So thank you very much. The teachers, the staff, the founders, thank you very much. So that's the first point. You're still very serious. Well, the second point, you know, and the second point is sort of obligatory, which is if you stand here, you feel like giving some advice, right? And I'm going to give you advice in 3 short points. So 2.1 is, look, actually nobody knows what you're going to do. Huh? So anybody who tells you that you should know what you're going to be doing, nobody knows anything, right? Do whatever you do well, and that's it, right? And this idea that people have goals and targets over the long periods of time, I haven't seen that to be true for anybody, right? So that's 2.1. 2.2 is then whatever you do well. And how do you do well? I think people completely underestimate the importance of hard work. You know, you have just enough number of intelligent people in this world. You have enough people who go to outstanding schools. You have enough people who have great support. But what makes the cut, what makes the difference really is hard work. So that's 2.2. And 2.3? And 2.3 is that eventually, at the end of it all, what matters is not how much money you made, not how high you rose in some organization. What matters is that did you make a difference to the lives of others? And did you do it with honesty and integrity? So if that happens, you'll be happy, satisfied, and you can always attempt towards that, right? So my 3 bits of advice. Last, and I'll end with this. You know, in that very kind introduction that my friend read out from there, you know, the job that I do gives me the privilege of working with literally thousands of schools. And I've been doing this for years. It's an absolutely extraordinary privilege. Last week, I was in a place somewhere up North Karnataka where, let's say if I visited 6 schools, for most kids in those schools, the only meal that they got through the day was the midday meal they got in the school. Right? So those are the circumstances. So that is pretty much most of the state of this country. Right? So to go to a school like this, to graduate from a school like this, is just an absolutely extraordinary privilege. And I understand that you recognize that. Make the best of that privilege. Make the best of the homes that you come from. and actually do go out and change the world, right? So I wish you all the best, and don't be so serious. Thanks.
Colors fade, institutions crumble, empires fall, but wise words endure. Thank you, sir. It is a tradition at Vidyashilp Academy to felicitate people who enable the school in functioning smoothly. Requesting parents of Muskan Maini, our parent body representatives, to kindly come up on stage and accept our token of appreciation. Requesting Shravan to do the honors. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. And thank you, Shravan.
Our school is maintained and nurtured so well by the continuous effort of our lovely support staff. Their faithfulness, sincerity, and hard work go beyond words. Without their consistent assistance, it's impossible to have such a lovely campus. We take this opportunity to felicitate our support staff representative, Mr. Venkatashappa, requesting Daksh Chawla and Atul Mugasil Mangal to do the honors. Thank you, sir, and thank you, Atul and Daksh.
Invisible, yet omnipresent. They work round the clock. Without their efficiency, no school can reach the pinnacle of success. Requesting Sasikala V. Ma'am, a representative from the Content and Administrative Department, to come up on stage and accept our token of appreciation. Requesting Rutvik Mandya to do the honors. Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, Rutvik.
The delicate balance of mentoring someone is not creating them in your own image, but giving them the opportunity to create themselves. That is exactly what the mentors at Shilp do round the clock, focusing 360 degrees. Requesting Seema ma'am, lead educator of the EVS department Phase 1, to please come up on stage and accept our token of appreciation on behalf of the teaching faculty. Requesting Susanna to do the honors. Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, Susanna.
Without him, none of the events would ever be so glamorous, leaving a lasting, fond imprint in our minds year after year. Requesting our event manager, Mr. Preetham, to come up on stage and accept our token of appreciation. Requesting Dhruv Bhandari and Harsh to do the honors. Thank you, Harsh, and thank you, Dhruv.
Now, I request Ms. Apra Beher, Aditya Vasireddy, and Tarun Chaudhary and Tanushka Agarwal to come on the dais. The vote of thanks will be delivered by them.
A good evening to all the proud parents and relatives assembled here today. I stand before you with my emotions in a state of conflict. On one hand, the feelings of achievement and pride flow through my veins. On the other, a tinge of sadness weighs me down as I remember these are my last days in this school. Vidyashilp Academy was more than just a school for this batch of students. For some, it was a bustling hub of social activity. For others, it was a training center to perfect their game, regardless of the sport in hand. Yet, above all those, Vidyashilp Academy was a second home, and all the faculty who worked tirelessly to make it an incredible institution are nothing short of family. Their perennial patience with all the trouble we caused was quite astonishing now that I look back. As a result, we had our occasional disputes with one another. Yet, when it really mattered, you could look to these people for help, and he would answer with unwavering loyalty and benevolence. Whether it be the coaches in charge of constantly improving our game, or the academically gifted teachers that saw us through every step of the way, we as a batch will never forget them. As for the batch itself,